Welcome to our Monday Live, or should I say, welcome back to our Monday Live. Um, I'm Marcus, that's Krista. We are so happy to have you back here with us at the Igloo. From what I hear across the nation, it is on average about 2 degrees warmer than it was last weekend, or last Monday rather. We hope that you're someplace warm where you will feel loved. But if you are not in that place, we are glad that you are here with us because we want you to know, first of all, before we get started, that we love you, God loves you, and we hope you will enjoy what we have planned for you on this evening. Those of you that were with us on last Monday, um, we remember the jar that Krista is holding in her hand there. We pulled questions out of that jar and she read the questions and we discussed the questions. Um, Krista, what were your thoughts about last week and how it went?
Mm,
Did you have any
so I
revelation?
learned that Xena is not associated with Marvel or DC. She's
We
considered
did.
like a superhero, but not officially.
This
I
is right.
also learned the other superheroes, and there were some like female superheroes, and there were so many I can't remember all of their names. But I definitely learned more than I knew, which was like zero. So I learned that, and then I watched an episode of Everybody Loves Raymond because you answered that for favorite sitcom, like stupid humor
Hmm.
or relatable humor, and I'd never seen it. I actually had a totally different picture in my head of like hearing the name and thinking a different show.
Yeah.
It's definitely not what I would thought. What I thought. I don't know. Well, I don't know what I was thinking, but that's definitely another show. Now I want to know what that one was. but like I enjoyed it. I had never seen it. I had never seen it, and even any clips of it.
Yeah.
Um, and so it was, yeah, I enjoyed it. I
Nice.
watched my first Golden Girls episode because of you and Juju.
There you
I'm
go.
learning all kinds of things. And that's pretty much my recap. Oh, and Jor-El, I'll never forget the name of Superman's dad.
Oh yes, Jor-El. Yeah.
Jor-El.
Yeah, I was about to say. I think it's JOR-EL. Yeah, that
It's
rings a
seared
bell.
in my brain now. When I'm like, oh, Terrell, and my brother's like, Jor-El,
Jor-El.
Jor-El.
Not Turel, Jor-El.
Yeah, I'll never. Oh, yeah.
Jor-El. Turel.
And Superman
Um,
was my favorite superhero, answer. So I should have known that already, but now I will for the rest of my life because it's seared in after getting embarrassed for not knowing it.
it's all good.
The end.
The end. All right. Um, well, I think what I enjoyed the most, well, at the time, I'm not sure I enjoyed it as much as I thought I would because it took me out of my comfort zone because I'm kind of a list person, but um,
Really? Like
yeah,
it was hard for you?
it was difficult for me. Yeah, so I
Oh,
hopefully,
for me, it was like so nice because I was like, I don't have to prepare answers. I can just
yeah,
answer. And if I have no answer, I can say I have no answer.
there you
Like
go.
for me, this was so much easier than every live we've done before last week.
But yeah, now that I look back, it was kind of fun. Yeah, so
Yeah, it was off the cuff, which is
it
actually
was.
moderately terrifying because we're live on YouTube, guys.
It was totally organic, as you say. So yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah,
So what? So that
the
was your
most
least favorite
preservatives
part,
added.
right? Then being out of your comfort zone,
Yeah, I was out of my comfy zone. I was cold. There you go. So,
and your favorite part. What was it? Did you say? Did I
um,
already forget?
my favorite part was probably talking about the sitcoms. Yeah. So,
The sitcom, like Everybody Loves Raymond,
I was there.
or
Yeah.
what?
So, well,
What else
um,
did we talk about? Friends.
Friends. Yeah. Good show. Good show. Did we talk about Saved by the Bell and Boy Meets World? And
No, okay. I never. I saw Saved by the Bell,
you
like
did.
not a lot of it, but I saw episodes. But it was like they were older than me, So it was
Yeah,
like if I was like in elementary school, they were like in high school when the
they
show
were
was
not
airing.
right.
So my cousins, my older cousins would watch it. I remember getting to watch like episodes here and there, sometimes with like my sister or my cousins and friends and stuff. And I loved the show, but I don't know it super well. But I loved what I did see of it.
Right.
And then did you say Boy Meets World?
Boy Meets World. Yeah.
I've never seen it
Never
ever,
seen
and
that.
so many people talk about that show and always have. But I think
That's a good
also it
one.
was on cable. I think it was on cable. We didn't have cable. Like, yeah, we don't do cable. I
Good,
still don't do cable.
good show.
Um, but yeah, so okay, those are your other favorites.
Yes.
I
Yes.
love
Yes.
Saved by the Bell.
Yeah. Definitely grew up on those. So yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
I also liked How I Met Your Mother. Like I liked it a lot, and I am not a fan of sitcoms usually, but there's something about that one. And I think there's like 9 seasons,
mm, That
and
now
I
that
watched
I haven't
I
seen.
watched it all. That's yeah, that's when you know I really like a show when I watch it all, like
Yeah.
Gilmore Girls or Gossip Girl or One Tree Hill.
Once.
I've seen them all the way through.
Right.
That's when
I
I
got.
really like the show.
Yeah. I got some work to do because yeah, I've seen. Um. I think I've seen one episode of How I Met Your Mother. Um.
Okay.
So I'd have to watch it again to re-relate with it. But yeah. So.
It's been a long time since I even like stopped watching it, and I think I was in college when I started watching it. And it was intriguing because it was, just sort of like Friends, but like a different version and
Hmm.
like incorporating this older perspective
Right.
that Friends didn't. And so um, I think that, am I blurry? I
You
feel
are
like,
blurry. Yes, ma'am.
I'm like, why does this? It's weird. Hi.
You're not as blurry. Now you're clearer.
There we go. I hate when that happens because I'm like, do I keep talking? Because maybe I'm not blurry to the world, but like,
Right.
if I
I,
am, I could fix this in a second
I
while
don't
we're
know.
talking.
Am I blurry?
No, you never get blurry. I'm always the one with tech issues.
Maybe I'm like sitting here. I see myself clearly, but maybe I'm blurry to the world. I don't know. Um.
Well, so to set this clear, then, if either of us are blurry for like a minute or longer, we need to let each other know
Okay. Yeah.
because we may not
We
know.
gotta like hit the button or something. Ding ding. You're. We can't see you, but. um.
Yeah, but you never know because like I look blurry to myself, but then I'm yelling to my dad in the living room like, "Do I look blurry?" And he's like, "No." Like when I test this stuff out, you kind of just never know. Like, okay, what I see is not affecting anybody else. So like if I stop and interrupt what I'm saying, like, "Sorry,
Right.
I'm blurry," everyone is
Right.
like,
Like
"Oh
what?
God."
Okay.
And for me, maybe it's just like a 30-second glitch and I should keep talking.
Yeah.
It's really hard.
Yeah.
We're
It is.
figuring this out live, Marcus.
We're just we're
It's
just
just
rolling as we go. We
stressful.
don't know quite where we're going, but we won't be late. So yeah. Um.
Yeah, okay, so explain what the jar is for those who are just checking in for the first time.
So the jar, the famed jar, has
Need to come up with a name.
several questions that we randomly just thought of off the top of our heads, and Krista will do the same thing this week that she did last week and pick a question out of the jar, and we will have a heart to heart conversation about that question. We have no idea what the question will be.
And other
Without
people
further
have
ado,
inserted questions too, so it's not just us that have come up with these, but ideas from,
yes, it's,
other people that
there's
are
yeah, there's ideas.
part of
It's
the
not
Level Up Pod Squad, because once you know me, I will never let you go.
mm,
Okay. What does it look like when you know you're supposed to do something and you just don't want to do it? And the inspo for the scripture is Psalms 56:3. What time I am afraid I will trust in you. Oh, what does it look like when I? It depends on what it is that I don't want
Yeah,
to do.
I was just about to say that depends, you know.
There are
Um,
factors. I think my answer for everything is it depends. Because what are we talking about here? Like,
yeah.
what do I not want to do? 'Cause
I mean, gosh, I guess now we have to give examples. I don't know.
I know. Okay.
Um,
Do you have anything off the top of your head? I need to think about this. I feel like this
Top
is a
of
very
my head.
probing question. This is not one that came from me. So,
Well, here we go. I was nervous about the live last week because, like, I didn't know what questions I was gonna be asked or what.
you have an answer?
I do.
Perfect. Because I'm like, I got nothing. I didn't write this question. I hadn't thought about it.
Um, so what does it look like? Well, you get nervous. Sometimes there's a lot of apprehension. There's a lot of anxiety, which I definitely had both. Um, but I also think after the fact, there's a sense of appreciation that you got through it, and the next one will be even better than the first one was because you kind of got your feet wet the first time. So I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I think there's other things also that it depends on how apprehensive I am of this thing or whatever. Um, as well, because it may not be a spiritual thing. It may be like, Krista, you need to take care of your health in this way. But I'm like, I'm scared because I don't know what the answer is going to be, and I don't want to get it like checked out, and I don't have insurance. So like, it's expensive, so it's an excuse for me to put something off. But I am called to treat my body here on earth as a temple.
Hmm.
And I remember, like my grandma, for example, like my mom and her sisters, they watched that, like, mom, no, like he told you, and she would be like with like two desserts, like all like deer in the headlights trying to explain it away. And then there's the part, us like family, like where me grandkid, I'm like, no, just give it to her, like, we want to treat, like sneak grandma sweets that she shouldn't have because we want to feel good.
Right.
Whereas my grandma lived to 95 years old because she took care of the temple, but also when she didn't want to take care of the temple, she had people and family reminding her, like, no, we want you here for a very, very long time. Like,
Right.
you don't want to do it, but you need to do it.
Yep.
And so, there's times that personally, those things happen with me that I don't want to get something taken care of. Well, what do I need? I need my dad to go with me and show up at the doctor's office all the way across town for a new doctor that I don't know, but he knows, and it's like, the motivation of those things. Those are the things that practically help. But I have to make the decision. I had to make the decision to go get my blood pressure taken care of,
Right.
or to go get answers that I was like, but I just rather not. And then it takes people explaining, like, well,
Yeah.
blood pressure, it's called the silent killer. Like, did you know that?
Yeah.
Like, you could die, this is what could happen. And I'm like, oh. I mean, I knew it was a big thing, but also, like, I wasn't in a rush. So I'm scheduling it now instead of next week or the week after. Like, I need that. Like, we all need that with each other when we don't want to do something. But also, I have to fall to my knees and be like, I really don't want to do this, God.
That part right there.
When it's like, I don't know, breaking something that you're just being stubborn about and fighting, wrestling God, like, I don't know, I'm scared, I don't want to do this, or I just don't feel like it, or whatever. It also takes like me intentionally going to God and being like, okay, I really don't want to do this, so I need to call on you. It's the kingdom community here on earth, but it's also God. When I don't want to do something, my therapist straight up told me, she's like, I've noticed that you find it very hard to convince yourself to do something you don't want to do. And I'm like, straight facts.
And I guess as far as what it looks like when we're faced with something we don't want to do, it should it should start with prayer. You know,
Yeah. Oh,
uh,
well, it should.
it
Absolutely.
should. But
But
you know,
usually I'm just like trying to do things on my own or convince myself that I can do it or
yeah,
trying to set a plan and ask people for advice. And
because
then
like
I
there's
can't do it
there's
on my
times
own.
when I'm faced with something that I don't want to do that you know you kind of have some soul searching going on, and you ask you may not even necessarily be on your knees in your room, but you're like saying a quick prayer. Is this something God would be pleased with? And if the answer is no, yay. I don't want to do it, I won't do it. But there's other times when it's not something I necessarily want to do, but it's something that he
Yeah.
wants to do. So I've got to push past my own will for nevertheless, not my will but thy will be done. So
Yeah, and it's hard to also do things that are good for you. Like healthy
oh
food
yeah,
is more expensive than cheap
absolutely,
food that tastes way better.
way
Am
better.
I honest? Right?
Yeah.
Like, if I'm being honest, then yeah, it's hard to be healthy.
Oh yeah,
Plus, I don't want to exercise. I thank God I have a dog, and so, at the minimum, like I want her to last forever, so I'm gonna do what's good for her. But would I be walking if it wasn't for me? If it wasn't for her and do it for myself, for the fact that I know I'm supposed to take care of my body, like when I'm lazy, I might not do it.
yeah,
But, having having a dog that needs exercise
yeah.
and wanting to do its best for her helps me do that. And people that surround me also when I don't want to do something like eat healthy that tell you the good about
Yeah.
when you eat healthy or when you are not, like, what's the word? Not sufficient. Like where you don't have enough deficient of
Right.
vitamins and stuff. Like if you don't know how good it could be, like if you don't know what it's like to feel good, because you just have always eaten, negative, like negative stuff in fast food and whatever. If you don't know that, or if you haven't experienced like an active lifestyle, which is hard for me. For me, it's that's my problem. Is like I was homeschooled. I didn't have to be in sports and PE. Like I could run around the block and get exercise. Like, but because that was my exercise,
Yeah.
I also didn't get to experience the joy of physical activity in
Hmm.
a team
In a
environment.
team,
And
right?
so for me, it's hard to do those things because I'm like, well, I don't want to do any of it. So what do I want to do? I don't know. I guess I'll just do whatever's in the gym in my apartment complex. And it's hard to get motivated, and so now I have a dog and I want to do what's best for her, so I got to do it because I want her to live till she's 25. Like,
Yeah. I remember my dad, like when this must have been when I was like 5, 6 years old. He tried to get me to join the Pee Wee League baseball organized
I
teams.
feel like my brother was on that.
Yeah,
Like it was like a t-ball thing.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And I remember I didn't really talking about stuff we don't want to do. I didn't really want to do it because I was the only kid. I was an introvert on top of that. So I was really used to personal space and, you know, they're too close. And yeah, they started talking about when, you got to wear a cup. And I was like, wear a cup? What do you mean wear a cup? I mean, look, we drink out of cups. What are you talking about wear a cup? And then they explained to me what the cup was and why. And I was like, after that, I was done. Well, baseball's just not for me.
What did you think?
I, when I heard cup, I was thinking about, well, where are we gonna eat? I'm not
Yeah,
6 years
yeah.
old, so like,
You
I,
don't know the word until you know the
I
word.
that's the only thing I had ever associated with cup was like food on a table and drink in the cup. But yeah, they said, no, little man, this is a different kind of cup. So yeah. Um, but yeah, once I got that explanation of what that cup was, is like, yeah, we won't be playing.
You were like this emoji.
No. Yeah, exactly. Um, but and then I didn't understand that. we were playing t-ball, so there wasn't a lot of tossing at you yet. But when they explained the cup and that was what was going to be in my near future, probably, I was like, yeah, I'm just not. We're just not with baseball. You know. But
Well, speaking of things that you don't want to do, I also remember like when I took piano lessons growing up. Me and my
mhm,
brother, we took piano lessons, and but he took them first. He started when he was 7. I'm a year younger,
mhm,
and so I was begging my parents to let me take piano lessons because I saw him get to take lessons and I really wanted to learn,
mhm,
and so I started taking piano lessons a year after my brother did, and then we basically did it all the way through high school together in lessons every week. And and so I remember shortly, maybe like a year after I'd started taking lessons, maybe it was months. I don't know. What I do know is that I didn't like to practice because that's
yeah,
not fun at all.
it's not fun.
Like, I remember watching my brother be good very quickly at what he was doing on the piano. But when I tried to do it and I started taking lessons, I was like, this is way harder than it
Yeah.
looked like when he did it. And I don't like this. I don't like this. And so one day, my mom and I was arguing with her about not wanting to practice. And she was like,
Mhm.
you have to. Like, if this is a requirement to take lessons, you need to practice.
Right.
And so my dad came home in the middle of it, and then he was like, what's going on? And I was like, I don't want to take piano lessons anymore. It's too hard. Like, something like that, pretty much.
Right.
And my dad was like, okay. I mean, we're paying for lessons if you don't want to take them. Like, that's fine.
Right.
And my mom came around the corner and was like, no, here's what's really going on. She doesn't want to practice because it's hard, but I told her she made a commitment to take
Right.
lessons because we told her that she could take whatever lessons, but she couldn't just go take whatever lessons every different year. You needed to decide what you wanted. She
Right.
chose piano, and she knew she needed to commit to it, and she wants to quit because it's hard.
It's hard.
And we
Right.
had this whole conversation before you came home, and so of course my dad at that point is looking at me like, oh. And I'm like,
So it went down like
right?
that.
But like I couldn't get away with with coddling
Yeah.
to
That's
like, yeah,
right.
I know what you're doing. My dad's like, well then, well, okay, no problem. He didn't know the full story,
Right.
and when he knew it was about, you just don't want to do something that you committed to.
Yeah.
And you made a promise that you were going to stick with it because you wanted to be loyal to whatever instrument you chose. Oh, this is about that. That's a little different. And I had nothing to say to
Right.
defend myself. And I didn't quit because my parents didn't let me.
Right.
And I became a music major, a piano major in college. If I had quit, I
Really?
never would have been able to learn even enough
Yeah.
to be able to play piano anymore.
Hmm.
If you quit too soon, it's not important and you didn't learn enough of the foundations to even continue. And so I'm so thankful that my parents also were that in my life growing up as a kid, because when I became a piano teacher, there was the parents who let their kids quit and there was the ones who made them work through it.
Right. Right.
And I remember that, because I had the same experience and I saw it when my students would go through those very hard moments. Like you have to push through it because it's just like, it's not clicking and it's frustrating and you keep failing week after week, like in trying to master a part of a score or something, like, and a piece of music. And you just struggle and you struggle and you struggle and you struggle and you want to give up because it's hard and
Right.
it's not even worth it to continue until you are made to continue because your parents don't let you quit. And then you see what you can become,
Right.
but you can also look back and say, I overcame
Yeah.
that. And that feels even better than the things that come easy to
It does.
me.
Absolutely.
And I can put on display. It's like when something's really hard and you finally get over that hump, even if you didn't want to do it, it takes other people to help you get there, but the pride that you feel, of overcoming that is, man, it is hard.
Yeah.
And I fail more than I
It is.
succeed. Like I don't do the things that I don't want to do mostly.
Yeah. Well, that's the beautiful thing about failure, as they say. It's actually part of success. It's not the opposite of success, and that's one thing I found to be very true.
Yeah, what's the light bulb? There's like the Thomas Edison, like the quote about how you fail a certain number of times,
Hmm.
but one time to actually like bada bing, bada boom.
Interesting story about Dr. Seuss. I think it was he had written his books or written one book or two books or however the story went, but he went to have it published. I think it was at 20, it was some 20 or 30 times, and he kept getting turned down, and then it was like the 37th time or something. I can't remember the exact number, but he said, I'm going to try one more time. And he tried one more time. I forget what publisher he went to, but they published his book, and the rest is history. But sometimes all it takes is one more time. So,
Yeah, no, exactly. And I love, oh my gosh, I didn't know that story. That's cool.
yeah,
And I love, my motto is one of his quotes, like, you have to be odd to be number one.
that's right.
Because I'm all about the outliers level up. We're just a bunch of weirdos that I don't really fit in certain
Yeah.
ways. But
I
together we
heard
do because
I heard
we don't
one guy
just look at
say
people.
if you want to be number one, you gotta be okay with being alone. I was like, ooh, hadn't thought about that, but that's true.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it reminds me of, I don't know who said it's lonely at the top. Um,
Hmm.
but I guess yeah, there's an aspect to that. There's a pro and con to everything, I guess.
Oh yeah. Oh
That's
yeah.
the whole point about life and living the journey is we sometimes we try to do these extreme things and we try to be perfect and do everything we're supposed to do and we feel like we're failing and guilty and we're not. We're
Right.
just people. We're all the same. We're living, breathing human beings living life together
Yeah.
alongside. And we're just doing the journey together, even the hard stuff.
Yep.
We don't have to run away. We can we can talk about it.
That's right. The only way you can climb Mount Everest is one step at a time.
Yes. Yeah, easier said than done.
This is true.
Shall we shaky shaky shaky?
Shaky, shaky, shaky. What do we got?
How long did we talk about that one topic?
Ooh. Well, we've already spent a half hour on it, so
Nice.
maybe another half hour. I
Nice.
don't know.
Okay. What is the most important thing you have ever done?
Wow. I would say, well, I have to say, accepting Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior. I don't think, well, there can't possibly be anything more
Kind of
important than
like
that.
the obligatory answer
Yeah.
too.
Was that
But for
what
me,
you
it's the
at
same.
the,
It's the same. It's just like coming back
yeah.
home after leaving for like a decade. Then, actually coming back. And it takes work. It
Yeah.
takes work to change your life and stop being a heathen. And
Yeah.
so, yeah.
It's not always easy to follow Jesus.
No, it's way harder. It's
Well,
easier to do things like the easy way, which is like lie, cheat, manipulate, steal. Like, it's a lot
yeah.
easier to not have to tell the truth
Oh,
than
yeah.
it is to be transparent to someone and look them in the eyes and tell them the
Yep.
truth. Like, it's hard. And, you know,
Yep.
I forgot what I was saying. Lost my train of thought because I'm
That's my
worried.
potato pop. But I've often wondered why it's easier to tell a lie than it is to tell the truth. And the thought came to me that, you know, truth, there's always responsibility that it comes along with truth. So, and telling the truth, sometimes you don't want to deal with the responsibilities that come with that. So, tell a
Hmm.
lie to avoid the responsibility. So I was like, well, okay, makes sense.
Yeah. Well, and when it comes to things like loyalty or secrets or things that you're sharing that are not yours to share, you know, there's the line between gossip and
Yeah.
sharing
Yeah.
for a purpose specifically,
Right.
and then growing up and in my high school and college years and even beyond, I think I tried to appeal to everybody,
Hmm.
and be a friend to everybody. Therefore, I never realized that means loyal to no one.
Right.
And it's not like you're actively trying to hurt someone's
Right.
feelings or whatever, but when it turns up that, there was a conversation, you said nothing
Yeah.
in conversation other people are having,
Right. Right.
what do you stand for?
Yeah.
And I inadvertently hurt people's feelings and
Hmm.
exposed my own, like, ease with just being Switzerland and not standing for what I believe. Because why would you not defend a friend that's not there in the conversation if you feel like they should be defended?
Right.
Why would you not stand up for truth about what you believe and let them just go to church and hear it instead? It's easier and it doesn't feel like that, like, "Ugh,
Right.
I don't know how they're going to respond"
Right.
feeling.
There's a
And
responsibility. Yeah. How are they
and
going to
when
respond?
you stand for truth,
The
you
consequence.
become loyal in a way that stands for itself.
Yeah.
And you don't have to tell people you're loyal because they see that you are,
Right.
or they see that you kept the thing private that you asked them to, you know? And I think that living it is so important because this day and age, it's more about talking
Right.
and saying what you want and who you are and what you believe.
Right.
Whereas now in this day and age we live in, a
Right.
lot of times that's not even us. That's not even ourselves. That is not even our beliefs. That's been infiltrated and told to us, or church trauma has
Yeah.
told us that God is not good.
Right.
No, that's not the
Yeah.
case. You
Oh yeah.
know,
Yeah.
God never stopped loving you,
Right.
and He never failed you. And someone misrepresented God.
Right.
And so having the hard conversations and being real, I think that it speaks
Yeah.
more highly than anything you can say.
Absolutely.
And you have to live it. And it's so hard to be open and real and transparent and honest and and live that kind of life, because it's uncomfy because you have to tell people what you struggle with. And you
Yeah.
have to
Yeah.
ask for people in the hard moments when you just want to be like, I'm fine. I'd rather help everybody else. Never ask for help.
Right.
No, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah. I
It's
know.
hard to
For
realize.
me, I know for me personally, I've been. I remember one night I was in prayer. I was having a why me God moment, that type of thing, and it was, I wasn't exactly in a good place, but I heard His voice. He said to me, "Son, the first thing you need to understand is I never left you. I've already promised you that. I've been there all the while, even though sometimes you couldn't feel me or trace me or see me or hear me. My presence never left you. Number one. Number two, He took me back. He said, go to Genesis chapter 3 and read closely. And when I did, I got to the verse where he said, he was talking to Adam, of course. He said, in the day that you eat thereof, in the day that you do what I told you not to do, you shall surely die. You not only get death, you get everything that comes along with death. And then he told me, Marcus, you got to understand, I didn't make this scene. Sin made this scene. When I got through, everything was perfect. There was nothing but good. There was nothing but holiness. But because of disobedience, we have sickness. We know God never intended for us to know evil, but now we do because we've eaten of that fruit. Now we're naked. Now we've got to cover up. Now, we're self-conscious. Now we have anxieties, we have fears. I mean, the first thing that called Adam do, and he said, when God called to him, he said, I was afraid, I'm fearful now, because I was naked, I have knowledge of something he never intended for me to have knowledge of, and I hid myself. I'm hiding. Three things that were not there before sin occurred. And
Hmm.
from that night on, the trauma, the problem didn't necessarily leave, but I was able to address the problem in a different manner. To where now I don't ask why God. I ask, well, let me rephrase that. I still ask why God, but I don't ask from a standpoint of pity. I ask from a standpoint that I need to understand what the greater purpose of this is, because you're allowing this. So apparently, number one, this has an expiration date. And once
Hmm.
I overcome this, what do I need to learn, first of all? And who do I need to help? How can I help? I started asking questions that are now he's saying, okay, you're starting to get it. But
That's
as
like
long as,
asking why because you want to know,
because you
not
want to know the
asking
reason
why
why,
it shouldn't have happened to
out
me.
of bitterness, and but
Yeah.
life is not fair, but God is always fair. So
Yeah, and all, I mean, it just goes back to our innate nature.
yeah,
Our human nature is fallible.
yeah,
It's a
very
lot easier to tell a lie that you ate the cookie from the jar because then your sibling will get blamed instead of you. Um, or maybe they believe in ghosts. But, it's easier to tell a lie for sure than telling the truth. That
yeah,
is the hard thing to do because you know you did something wrong.
right.
And I remember this guy, his name is Troy Roberts, and he was the teacher in our classroom growing up. So I would have been probably between the ages of like 10 and 12. And
Hmm.
I remember he was giving this lesson, and he was talking about his baby that had just been born.
Hmm.
And so he was like, are people born bad, or do they become bad when they start making mistakes? And so, we're having this discussion. He's
Right,
talking to us as we're trying to think about this as kids. Like, okay, well, I know I'm a sinner. I know I've
right.
done like the mistakes he's talking about, but like, was I born that way? And he's like, so we kind of came to the conclusion, and he was just sitting there like stoic, like he was letting us talk as a fourth through sixth
Right.
grade classroom and figure it out. And he's just like, so as a class, we come to the conclusion, yes, we're born sinful.
Right.
And he was like, so you're gonna tell me that my little innocent baby Atticus, is that he's a bad person? That he's sinful? Like, has he sinned? And so it threw us for a loop and we
Hmm.
changed our minds. And then he came back and brought it full circle and he was like, of course he is. He is a sinner, just like me.
Right.
And I will never forget that because it also showed me the influence of other people's opinions. So what the majority went with, like whether or not someone agrees, that you can just kind of fall into line.
Right.
And then it's something sounds good. It doesn't mean if it's that it's right or wrong, but the people who talk say the things, and then you kind of come to a general consensus whether or not every single person agrees. And that was interesting there because there were people that had different thoughts, but then there were the ones that were like, okay, so what do we say? Yes, yes,
Right.
okay, yeah,
Right.
come on, bro, yes, and everyone's raising their hands, and we were all wrong at the end. And so we learned a spiritual lesson, but we also learned a popularity contest type of lesson because there were some people in the class that, I mean, that didn't agree,
Right.
but they didn't have enough people that agreed with them to overcome the majority, and they were the ones right all along, right? I saw that play out. and also no help from the teacher. He posed a question and a situation, and he's not probing along. He's literally letting these kids figure out
Right.
what is truth. And then he helped us walk through, you know, our answer when we were like, if our parents were here, we would be able to answer this question. Like, I'm not really, I don't know. And
Right.
then when he questioned us, we all changed our minds and we're like, oh, we must be wrong.
Yeah.
And he, he taught us that lesson of you have to know truth for yourself
Yeah.
to stand upon it.
Yep. That's
And if you don't even know what you think, you're going to be influenced by the crowd, or you're going to be forced to play the game that everyone else is playing.
yeah.
It's hard to stand apart
It
and
is.
do something different.
Yeah.
So not enough people did because they were afraid of being wrong.
Right. Right.
So yeah, it was easier to just go with what the majority thought instead of asking the people that dissented what their opinions were and why. And maybe we could have actually had a different type of conversation and different type of result. But if that had never happened, I wouldn't have learned that lesson. So as an adult now, I look back on that being like, that was one of those pivotal moments where I saw the influence of people that can tell you what you believe, even if you don't believe it, or
Right.
convince you.
Right.
And
Yeah.
if you don't know what's right or wrong, you're just going to eventually believe what everyone believes.
Yeah.
So, anyway, that was a long story. Sorry.
No, it's all good. I mean, for me, I love those type of teachers that they ask you a question and they don't just tell you the answer. Like you were just saying, they kind of they hold your proverbial hand and kind of lead you to the answer until sometimes the light bulb even goes off and oh, that's it. And he can say that's right. And now you're never going to forget that truth because he didn't give it to you. You found it for yourself. He helped you. He kind of led you to it, but he didn't
Hmm.
just. When you find truth, there's something about finding truth for yourself that it stays with you.
It's so much more satisfying too.
It is.
Like my mom was very much about that. Like when we were growing up, it was so annoying. My brother and I hated it. I
Yep.
appreciate it now, but we'd be like, "Mom, what does this word mean?" And she's like, "Go look it up. The encyclopedias are right there."
Right.
And we're like, "Could you just tell us, like what does this word mean?" And so she's like, "Here are the resources to figure it out for yourself.
Right.
If it's not there, then we'll figure out. But I'm not going to tell you the answer
Right.
because number one, you won't remember it
You won't
because you
remember
didn't
it.
do the
Right.
work. But number two, that is not my role as your parent. My role is to teach you to think for yourself,
Right.
not to tell you how to think. So, I think that that's so important, and it's a lost art, if I do say so.
It's really interesting because this was, gosh, years ago. I had a college professor tell me one time the reason that Asians are so much further advanced in their knowledge base and their cumulative learning than Americans are. He said it's really very simple, and it starts when they are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years old. He said over here we teach from a structure of memorization. He said over there they teach from a structure of critical thinking. There was a and to illustrate this, there was a I believe I think it was either on YouTube or on Facebook. I can't remember where I saw it. And some of you out there have probably seen this video that I'm talking about. But I think the gentleman he was Asian. I don't know exactly what country, but they were walking down this sidewalk, and his small toddler son was following him, and there was a series of strings separating him from his dad. His dad, I think he stepped across it, and his
Oh,
son
I
could
think I've
not.
seen this.
I figure you may have seen this. he was trying to figure out how to get through the strings, and he couldn't figure it out, so he was getting frustrated. But over here, we pick him up, put him on the other side, so he won't have over that. He his dad did not pick him up. He basically he just encouraged him. He said, "You can figure it out. Think through it." And finally, he did figure out how to get through the strings and get to the other side. And that's basically the difference in how we teach. And if they're doing that from 2, 3, 4 years old, when they get up to the age of 19, 20, 21, 25 years old, they're not, it's a part of them now. They're not expecting people to give them the answer. They're used to finding the answer on their own. Whereas over here, you know, we have a school system that, we've got kids, having temper tantrums because, you know, we don't have the answer and give us the answer. Whereas over there, it's like they're very, it's just a totally different way of thinking. And it's exciting and it's scary at the same time because it's like, well, gosh, we need to there's something we need to do about our own education system. They said over there that teachers are treated like doctors, and I won't go into what our teachers are treated like over here, but it's showing up in society at an alarming rate, and it's not, at least for over here in the Western Hemisphere, it's not positive. So, but
Yeah. Yes, I think the digital age, has just really diminished the power of human connection and intentionality, and things are easier these
yep,
days to do things that took a lot more work to do back then. And so the instant gratification and it just completely denigrates the hard work and the feeling of succeeding, after going back to not doing something you don't want to do. Like,
right,
I just remembered this moment because when I started college, well, high school and college, I was teaching piano, and so I taught piano at my parents' house where I lived, and I don't remember how it became a thing, but it became a thing that I would perform after all the students at their recitals,
hmm,
because them and the parents loved to see, like, what, because I was a music major, in college, and so they like, uh, the students love to see, like, oh my gosh, okay, I'm playing like Mary Had a Little Lamb, but
yeah,
if I stick with it, I could maybe do that type of thing. And I would have never thought that people would like that, because I would have thought that, like, okay, me playing is going to overshadow my littles, like
right,
my kids. And no, the parents loved it, and the kids loved it. And so I remember practicing this one piece, Love Story, the theme song
hmm,
from Love Story. So I'm practicing on the piano, and there's this one part, and I can still hear it in my head. It is so hard and so fast. And I wanted to play it for the recital that I was about to have for my students. And I just, like, I kept getting stuck, and stuck. And I remember my mom in the kitchen cooking dinner. And then when I would, like, she's like, slow down, slow it down. Because I just try to, like, do it over again and then start from
right,
the beginning. She's like, no,
right,
you need to pick the spot, the struggle spot, and do
right,
that over and over and
right,
over slowly, and then add the rest in. My mom would be like, she's always been there our
right,
whole life. We were homeschooled, so she sat through our lessons, like, she helped us. And so I got it. I got it. And
right,
then my dad came home from work as I was playing the piece successfully, and he
right,
made a comment, and he was like, oh man, I love coming home too, hearing this beautiful music. And my mom poked her head through. We had these, like, doors at the time right next to where the
right,
piano was, and she opened the doors, and she, she poked her head in, and she's like, See, didn't that feel good?
Yeah.
It was hard, and I had sat there for like an hour and a half, and I was just like, yes, because now I don't have to play the backup song that I didn't really want to play for the recital, but I didn't want to screw this up. No, that's
Right.
embarrassing. And I sat down, and I wasn't alone. My mom helped me, and I mastered it.
Yep.
I did something I didn't want to do, and I didn't have to do it alone, but I saw the benefit of it in such a powerful way after that's the things that you do that you don't want to do and like get over the hump.
Yeah.
That is what you cling to next time you don't want to do something
Next
and you
time you don't want to
remember.
do right.
But how good
Right.
did that feel?
Right. Right. Yep.
It's a lot easier said than done.
Oh yeah. In the
Good
moment, yeah,
feeling.
for sure. Yeah, it's definitely a lot easier said than done. But
Shall we do another question?
yeah, well, we got about 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, there's like a bunch stuck together. Okay. What's the stupidest thing you ever did on a dare?
Oh boy. Stupidest thing I did not dare. I think the dumbest thing I've ever done on a dare was like I jumped out of a treehouse one time.
Oh, that was real dumb.
Yeah. Fortunately, I did get hurt. I could have gotten hurt, but yeah, I did. I guess I was springy, so yeah,
What is it with boys and jumping on and stuff? Like
I don't know.
roofs and everything. They can jump off.
Yeah, I've got like a slight fear of heights too, so yeah, I don't know how I pushed through doing that, but yeah, we got there.
For me, it was we were with our like college age group here hanging out at our house. Our house, my brothers and my like college age singles
Hmm.
group, whatever. It was like this was like one of the houses to hang out at. So we were in the kitchen doing some dumb college age kid stuff, and there's this list of like things that you can do that you can't do in under a minute, or things that you can't do or whatever. One of them is like you can't eat 10 saltine crackers with no water. You cannot eat 10 of them within 60 seconds. And one of them is like you can't eat a tablespoon of cinnamon. And one of them was like you can't drink a gallon of milk in an hour. And anyway, so we were all doing different ones. I don't remember what they all were. And I thought the cinnamon one, like a teaspoon of cinnamon, or I don't even think it was a tablespoon. I think it was a teaspoon of cinnamon. I thought that one would be like the easiest dare to take or whatever. So
Hmm.
I took that one. Oh man, was I wrong? And I do not like cinnamon to this day still because of that night. I was at my mom's kitchen table and I put it in my mouth, but then I didn't realize because of how fine it is, the second you even like open your mouth, it all coats the back of your throat. And so I remember getting up off the chair, going to my mom's sink, turning on the water and like bah! Like bah! Like dying, like trying to get it all out because I couldn't breathe.
I was about to say, could you breathe?
No. So yeah, I did. Yeah, I don't like cinnamon to this day because I'm traumatized from that moment. So cinnamon roll, no. Like I'll have a bite of it, but like I can't do cinnamon. It's still a trigger because I almost
Nice.
suffocated. And I mean, it was a really dumb idea,
Well,
but
no
you'd get a
dumber
bunch
than
of
you.
20 something like late teens, early 20s together, and you're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
let's do a bunch of dares.
No dumber than jumping out of a treehouse. So it's all good.
Yeah.
But yeah, something.
Where are we at?
The Where are we at? What time? It is now 7:27.
We're 5:27 on Paso time. Should we do another question?
Yeah, we got 7:28. We got 2 minutes. We got time for one more.
Krista talk fast for once.
Little time for one more.
No, say less for once. Oh my god. Okay. What do you identify with most? Water, air, earth, or fire? And why? Now, do you have anything for this?
I'm gonna have to say Earth on that one.
Why?
And I think the reason I know, me personally, nature walking slash hiking is something that I love to do, and I always feel, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm always enlightened after I take a actually I did it just yesterday. I'm sometimes I'll walk as many as like sometimes 7 8 miles, and I'm a little bit tired once I get back, but sometimes along the trail I will actually stop and like just listen to the quiet. Sometimes like the birds are singing, or you'll see a squirrel run across in front of you, or like you'll see a possum, or you'll see a fish, or you'll see a raccoon, or whatever the case may be. There's something for me. There's something about nature that I don't know. It just makes everything right again. So every now and then, like to get outdoors, and it's a good time actually for I do a lot of prayer sometimes when I take those walks. So it's nice to be alone with God. If you want to talk out loud, it's okay because there's nobody out there but you. So you know,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I think I resonate with that answer too, as well as far as Earth, because, um, there's just certain parts of nature that hold memories for me that are
Mhm.
very, very dear. So, like the smell of pine,
Yeah.
it reminds me of going up to my grandparents,
Mhm.
almost every month pretty much for a weekend, and hearing the wind of the pine through the trees, this like whooshing sound.
Yep.
And my grandmother, she had all of those wind chimes and
Hmm.
these beautiful glass, like it's like created music on the back patio,
Right.
where there was like a porch swing and everything. So the smell of pine needles and the sound of that, when my parents go up and camp in Rio Doso, like I get that nostalgia as well, because there's just that woodsy like smell and
Mhm.
nature that I don't see because I live in I live in a desert.
Right.
But where I live, it's the tip of the Rockies. So we have the Franklin Mountains here where you can go hike. And my dad and I were talking recently on our way I think it was on our way to Home Depot or whatever. And we are talking about like sometimes I just want to go climb up that. Like
Oh
it's
yeah.
just so pretty. And it's one of the only major cities in Texas to have a mountain range, like of a backbone,
Nice.
splitting it in half. And so the there's this one plant called the creosote plant.
Hmm.
I call it desert sage, and it's like significant to the area and New Mexico. I think the official name is the chaparral, like it's a chaparral
The
plant or
chaparral.
whatever. But people call it different names, It's like desert sage or creosote or the chaparral, like New Mexico chaparral plant.
Hmm.
But it has this particular look. And now I'll never forget our family friend Linda Zimmerman. We'd go hiking on the weekends, and she
Hmm.
showed me that plant. And she was like, "If you crumble it in your between your fingers, that's the smell of desert rain." And I was like,
Mm.
what? Like, I didn't know. I knew the smell of desert rain. And the smell of rain in El Paso is different than other places. Like, it doesn't smell the same
Yeah.
like it does here. And I was like, oh my gosh. And so every time we'd go hiking, she's like, yeah, I like to like get it and crumble it in my fingers and I like hold it. And so I just like walk and we'd hike and I would literally hold it and like smell it. This desert sage, one of my friends when I worked at the university, he actually figured out a way to put it in a bottle and
Oh,
um
nice.
as like an essential oil that you can put
Hmm.
in a diffuser, like a water-based formula of the oils from the plant. And so he would like he told me about harvesting it or whatever. So I think I agree with your answer as well that nature, there's just certain things in nature that, are iconic. I went over time. Oops.
For sure. Well, we thank you guys so much for joining us this evening. We did go about 3 minutes over, but we hope you enjoyed our conversation and our jar. Um, we will be back. God willing, we will be back next Monday, this same time, this same channel.
Do you have a nugget?
A nugget.
I forgot about
A
a
nugget.
nugget.
A nugget. A nugget. A nugget. Live life to the fullest. There we go.
I love it. See you guys next week.
See you guys next week. We love you. God loves you. Go team.
Peace out.